Got two UMX T-28s here. I bought both of them used. This was my first one, that was my second one. The first one was in better condition on the whole when I bought it. And I crashed it a few times. It's had some repair to the wings here and there. It's very thin foam. It damages quite easily. I got to quite like flying it and whatever, but then now the electronics on it seem to have gone completely, so I'm not expecting anything much of this one. My experience with this one has been recently that it will fly for approximately a minute or so, and then just go completely out of control and dive into the ground. And it seems to do that quite repeatedly, this one, unfortunately, so I'm assuming there's something wrong with the electrics on it. We'll see, but I'm not expecting it to do any different, because that's what it's been doing quite consistently. That's why I bought the second one. I picked the second one up in bad shape extremely cheaply at a swap meet. And my original thought was I might take the board out, the second one, and put it in this one. But then, you know, with a little bit of repair and some trim, I got the second one to fly fine on its own, so I'm disinclined to mess around with the second one at the moment it flies. Let's see if we can take this guy off the table. Little bit of a dip as he comes off the table there, which is not atypical for a warbird. It's a little bit short. Now, I'm not really going to do much with this one because, as I say, I'm fully expecting this to go kaplooey, because it's been doing so, and I don't want to go into the long grass to get it back. See, it flies fine now. It's flying fine. Hair of wind getting up now. But, and it, you know, it did fly fine, but then, as I say, it's done this thing where it, I don't know, you'll see if it does it. It basically just suddenly goes into a groundward spin. You're just flying it gently in circles, and it just suddenly gives out on you. It could just be a defective servo, I suppose. I don't know.
Time remaining, 4.
You know, if the rudder sticks hard over or something, that could happen. I don't know. Well, that was 30 seconds. I think I had 4 minutes and 30 seconds on, I think. Or maybe 5. I don't remember with this one. I don't generally put more than 430 or 5 on these little one-cell stick battery things, because that's about all you get out of a little one-cell stick battery indoors. Well, if this guy's going to make a liar out of me, I don't care. If he wants to work, that's nice. But he hasn't. I'm surprised he's flown this long based on my experience with him the last few times I've flown him. Yes, see, now I'm getting tempted to actually try and fly him, since he seems to be not dying, but then he probably will die, and I really don't want to have to go into the long grass to retrieve him. It's a wet morning this morning.
Time remaining, 3 minutes.
Well, he seems to be making a liar of me and flying today, but I don't trust him at all, because, as I say, he's persistently done this thing where you're just flying him along more or less straight and level, and he suddenly snaps into a downward spin and crashes into the ground. He's so light that you can get away with it, sort of, you know. I mean, that's the thing. Well, I don't know. I seem to be getting a normal, satisfactory flight out of this guy today, for some weird reason. So what the heck he was doing all the times before when he kept doing that on me, who knows? That could be a defective servo. Don't go in the long grass. It could be a defective servo, in which case, you know, sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. You know, those little... I suppose it could even just... It could even just be a little bit of grit or something getting caught in one of those linear servos. Whoa! Oh, there you go. See? Unfortunately, I was in the middle of doing a maneuver there, which kind of didn't make it so obvious, but yeah. Well, he went for a pretty long time then before he did it. Oh, that was the battery. I was wondering, oh no, it wasn't the battery. What was it that fell off? Oh, it was the battery, yes. It was the battery that fell off there when he landed. There's one thing about this sort of thing, I mean, you know, he just span down into the ground there with a plane of any size. Of course, that would, you know, cause massive damage. But this guy, you know, he's so tiny that he gets away with it, more or less.
Throttle cut off.
Well, for one thing, he seems to be at low voltage cutoff, although he only flew for about, what was it? I'll tell you in a minute. He flew for 3 minutes. And he does seem to be at low voltage cutoff, yes. His motor just won't go now.
Throttle cut on.
Yeah, that's his elevator servo making a noise. His elevator servo's making a weird noise, and he's at low voltage cutoff. But I mean, that's the closest I've got to a meaningful flight out of this guy in quite a number, in like at least half a dozen flights. I fully expected him to do that thing of just going kaplooey into the ground, you know, after 1 minute or so rather than after 3 minutes, because that's typically what he's been doing. So let's see if we can fly the other guy now. There you go, that's the other guy.
Throttle cut off. Throttle cut on. Mid-rate. High rate.
No, the other guy. Oh, yeah. This guy is superficially a good deal more battered. I mean, he's been chewed up pretty badly, obviously, and he had been when I got him. And as I say, I kind of initially viewed him as a parts plane. But since I was able to fix him up and trim him out, and he seemed to actually fly better than the other one, so I ended up... I don't really want to take him apart, but we'll see. Now, famous last words, who knows what will happen now, but this guy has never done that sort of randomly going out of control into the ground sort of thing before. He's a bit, interestingly enough, flying one after the other. This guy seems... he maybe doesn't control quite as well as the other, but then he has been damaged quite a lot. But he's, you know, the other, until it decided to go completely out of control, was actually controlling quite well. This one's not controlling quite so well. Interesting, yeah, and you can see that for some reason, not deliberate, I don't think.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
There's this guy seems to have a marked dihedral on his wing, which I don't think this plane is meant to. I don't know how he acquired that. That's an accident, I think. Oh, doesn't roll very well, this one. Perhaps because of the dihedral on the wings. He doesn't really like rolling, this one. He does not like rolling. No, not really. I hate getting these little planes far away from me, because as soon as they get a little bit away from you, you can't see them. You've got to keep them close. Well, I have, because my eyesight isn't that precise. Although I think my prescription is fine. It's not that things go out of focus. It's just they're too small, you know, to see what's going on, to make out at that distance. Don't know where we're at time-wise.
Time remaining. 3.
There you go. So I don't know whether the timer on this is set the same as the timer on the other. Probably. The timer on the other was set to 5. So we've only flown for 2 minutes. Feels like longer than that. Well, of course, we were flying the other one. Yeah, the additional dihedral on the wing, which is not right, it shouldn't be there. It definitely makes a difference to how this one flies. But if it flies, I mean, I don't want to. It certainly flies fairly decently. I don't want to cannibalize it. Whoa! It doesn't. It does not have enough power to do a loop from a standing start. You've more or less got to dive and put power on to loop. Nope. Even that. Whoa! Power out. He didn't go out of control, but his motor cut out. His motor cut out there after, what was that? Yeah, less than 3 minutes. So I didn't get more than 3 minutes out of either of them. His motor cut out after. His motor just cut out completely after 3 minutes. Oops. Trying to drop my. Nope. Whoa. And it has just cut out completely. And so he's still, I mean, it's not that his battery's disconnected or whatever, because he's still got control of the rudder. Well, putting throttle cut on seems to be kind of superfluous, because as far as I can see, he has no motor power.
Throttle cut off.
Oh, so it... Now see, now it's going again. Yeah. See, this is the problem with these little brushed motors. They're a questionable exercise, these little brushed motors, really. They really are. It's working again now, but it just completely cut out in flight there. Ah, well. That's about all I'm going to get out of these probably now. So I managed about 3 minutes flight out of each of them. I expected that guy to do more flight than that guy. I expected that guy to die after 1 minute. I expected that guy to probably go to pretty much a full 5-minute flight. But I guess they both have dihedral on the wing, but this one has more. But that one spiraled into the ground after 3 minutes. This one, the motor cut out dead after 3 minutes. My general feeling at this point is I am just not going to muck around with these little one-cell things. I mean, I'll keep the ones I've got and play around with them fine, but I'm not... I really don't want to get into these little one-cell brush things anymore. They're just... They don't work for long enough. They only work for a few months, and then they start, you know, doing this kind of thing. So you're better off to spend the extra money and get the 2-cell brushless ones. The only 1-cell brush thing I've been able to keep running for longer is the Cub S, and even that I think I've changed the motor on. So there you go, 2 little Park Zone Micro T-28s. So long as the motors and the electrics still work, quite a nice little plane. But don't expect the motors and the electrics to work for too long.